Hey guys, welcome to a new video from Winston. Today we're going to be doing a video guide on snipers named Widowmaker and Ana, well, at the moment at least. Talking about things like DPI sensitivity, warm-ups, tips and tricks and things like that. So just to start off, there's a question that people always have about how to aim with snipers like Widowmaker. And this is just a beginner guide from me. I'm not a pro sniper by any means, but I have brought the ways of aiming down to 3 different types. So first we have the tracking aim, where you move up and down and you follow your target's head like this. The second type is where you wait for someone to get into your crosshair and then you pull the trigger when they pass it. And the third one, of course, is flicking. So let's just have a try on all of those 3. The first one being tracking. So you track your target and you pull the trigger, then you can consistently hold it over the head. The second one would be to place. So if we just wait for the spot to come. Okay, I let him get past me. Okay, you pull the trigger when he passes your crosshair. And the third one would be flicking. So you position somewhere near the head and then you flick across. Okay, so the first 2 are relatively simple in comparison. And if my thing is stabilized, we can get into the complicated one, which is the flicking. Okay, so based on your DPI and sensitivity, which we'll get to later, there's many ways to do this, but the best way I find is to get to a position near the enemy's head, out of being scoped in. So you get near the head, you zoom in, and then you flick across. When your crosshair passes the head, then you pull the trigger. It's like so. Right. So there's quite a few ways to try this out. Firstly, we'll ignore the charge up on Widow scope. So you do it slowly, and as you pass, pull the trigger like that. When the bots spawn, I'll show you a little faster one, like so. Okay, when practicing that, eventually you'll reach a point where you can do it without even thinking. So when the bot or when an enemy passes you, okay, lag. When the bot passes you, you will kill them by flicking your crosshair over the head and pulling the trigger when the crosshair passes their head. Alright, so getting into the settings part of this video, let's just talk about DPI. So DPI is basically dots per inch. How many dots of pixels you pass your crosshair for every inch you move your mouse. Alright, sensitivity is basically like a multiplier of that. Not directly proportional, I don't think, but basically the higher your sensitivity, the more effective your DPI is, essentially. So we have 2 types of sensitivity in game. Let me just get into controls. We have our normal sensitivity and we have our relative aim sensitivity. The relative aim sensitivity, to my understanding, is a percentage of your unscoped sensitivity. So if you have 100% on your relative aim sensitivity, your crosshair will move the same amount as when you are unscoped. So if I show you while I am unscoped, let's move my mouse 1 swipe. Okay, let's position that. My cable is on the mouse pad. Okay, so that's 1 swipe of my mouse, about 180 degrees. If your relative aim sensitivity was 100, this full range of motion will occur when you are scoped as well. But if you are scoped in with a 35 relative aim sensitivity, as you see mine was, a full swipe is not anywhere near that. So it's about 35% of that. Okay, so I suggest for beginners you use only one sensitivity on all heroes, scoped and unscoped. what this will do is it'll keep a consistent sensitivity all over for you to get used to. It will decrease your consistency with respect to being able to hit shots, especially on targets very far away. But what it will do is increase your overall sensitivity, consistency with respect to being able to do your flicks and things like that, since it's consistent across your scoped and unscoped sensitivities. So next is something called pixel skipping. It's not such a big deal because people don't really pay close attention to it. A lot of people have a very high DPI, actually most players have a high DPI because they don't really know about all of these things, which is kind of the reason why I'm making this video. I'm sure all of you versed people who are just spraying you down, especially as Soldier and Chaser, and not really hitting any shots on you. And as a Widowmaker, I've been able to kill a lot of those guys in close range because they clearly have very high sensitivity and DPI. Anyway, back to pixel skipping. What this basically is that your DPI and your sensitivity have such a ratio that when you move your mouse, it's impossible for you to put your crosshair over a certain pixel, based on where your crosshair started, of course. This can be rectified by checking your sensitivity and DPI in a calculator. I'll post a link in the description. And you just input your settings there, one that you find comfortable, and check whether pixel skipping will be a problem for you. Like ping currently is for me. Anyway, the last thing I want to talk about with respect to settings is mouse acceleration. In Windows, this is called enhanced point precision. You want to turn this off because what this does is increase the amount your crosshairs move the faster you move your mouse. This comes back to the consistency thing with respect to sensitivity and scopes and relative aim sensitivity. The more variables you introduce into the setup, the less consistent you're going to be in your aiming. And the enhanced mounter point precision is one of those variables that you don't want to deal with. You want your crosshair to move a certain amount every time, no matter how fast you move your mouse. So that is all of the settings that I do want to talk about. As I said, for beginners, I recommend that you use 100% on your relative aim sensitivity until you feel like you are very consistent with it. You want to reduce that slowly to around the range of 30 to 38. So now that my ping has settled, let's talk about my settings before we move on to warm-up angels and things like that. So I use sensitivity of 4 with a DPI of 800, and on both Ana and Widowmaker I use a relative aim sensitivity of 35. I'm comfortable with the 35 now, but I wasn't, and at one point I increased it to 100 and my relative aim sensitivity, that is, and my consistency went through the roof. Hitting shots far away was difficult, but it was way better than before since my sensitivity was consistent scoped and unscoped. So yeah, for beginners I recommend you do that until you're comfortable, and then you slowly reduce your relative aim sensitivity down to around 30 to 38 is the number. And yeah, that's when you should be able to switch between both sensitivities and not have a problem, because you don't want your brain to be thinking that you're unscoped and then flick a huge punch but you don't move at all and you can't get to the head that you're trying to flick at. Alright, so moving on. Let's get to a few warm-up exercises, which I might not be able to do right now because my ping is not as settled as I thought it was. Alright, so we're just going to be working on our flick shots for now, because tracking is something you would be able to perfect with your setting tweaking, like we just went through now. Doing these kind of exercises, making sure you can keep your crosshair on the enemy no matter how you move, on the enemy's head no matter how you move. Waiting for that enemy to pass over your crosshair is more of a prediction thing. And yeah, so flicking is the only real thing that you can practice, that I can help you practice by giving you some pointers. So what I basically do is I practice close range shots first, because those are easier early on, and plus they also prepare you for dealing with flankers that get on you. If you watch my montage video that I put up recently, it's got a 1 or 2 duels with the Winston and Genji that I ended up winning. So that comes from practicing close range with these bots. I do this warm up before I play, like religiously. So as you saw there, I place near the bot's head and then I flick. So I'm going to do that with this bot. Okay, it's not going to look very clean since my ping is spiking, but yeah, let's do what we can. Alright, so that's the close range practice that you want to do for, I'd say, a few minutes. And then you can come a little further back, try to get a few shots on the bots from further away. And yeah, that's basically the medium range that you would probably be dealing with most of the time. If you can get a safe position from around there, because you'd want to be somewhere near your team, not too far away, so you don't have to deal with the flankers alone, because generally before you kill a Winston he would electrocute you down. So okay, enough about medium, let's get to a little further range, but back here and you just practice shots from here. It's not much more difficult, because when you get your sensitivity low enough and you're comfortable, this actually would be pretty straightforward for you. So what I like to do is I like to stand around back here, aim at the bots, and then wait for the next little plate to come. If I lag off, that'll be really sad. Yep, there it is. Yeah, so what I basically do is I shoot at those bots while I'm moving on that little platform, and then I go back onto the high ground there, and then I wait for the next one. I do this over and over for about a few minutes. The relative motion of you and those bots do help improve your ability to predict, you know, where the bots are. Like, so you aim here, aim there, get onto the platform, do it while moving, then get here, aim, etc. Right, so that's basically long, short, and medium range. So the last thing that we need to warm up the trick shots, the grapple hooks. So I like starting with this. You grapple up on that end when the platform isn't going to block you, and then you take a shot on that part. After you practice that, and you can do it consistently a few times, you can kill time waiting for your grapple to come up cooldown by shooting these bots. And then you can use the same point for your grapple hook, but you try to shoot this moving bot here, that one, or these ones, to be honest. Any of them is fine. Okay, so just to go through a few general tips and tricks. When it comes to scoping and unscoping, I recommend that you unscope after every shot or every 2 shots. If your aim is good, you do not need to. Okay, that was bad. I body shot it. Yeah, if your aim is good enough, you should be hitting your shots when you scope in, at least by the 2nd shot. So yeah, it allows you to look around, and also if you're moving to a new target, using your high sensitivity, which is your unscope sensitivity, you can move near the target and then scope into them. Alright, so something that has been brought to my attention, which has been a product of my flick practice, was that I ignored the charge up timer on my scope because I was just practicing flicks. So I was ignoring the scope timer and just focusing on headshots. So it's like flick, 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 flick. And yeah, so what that basically did was decrease my consistency of timing those charges in an actual game, and it was brought to my attention by the #1 console Widowmaker. I'll link his channel in the description as well. Pretty nice guy. He critiqued my videos, Widowmaker gameplay, and he improved me a lot. Alright, so another thing to talk about, yeah, I didn't do that properly. So what you want to do is, while practicing your flicks, make sure you charge up your shot. Make sure you have this sound in your head for when the shot charges up. It is a build up, so you will be able to hear that charge up sound, and you get the change to your crosshair when it's fully charged. Okay, how did that shot not hit? I'm going to blame latency. Okay, so Widowmaker has an ult which doesn't feel like it has much impact compared to other ults, but it is extremely powerful even if you can't get the most out of it. For example, if you are in overtime and about to die, just throw that ult out so your teammates have it. It makes a huge difference for even your non-sniping teammates. For example, Soldier, McCree, actually all of them, like wall hacks, guys. Alright, so let's just talk about a few basic counters to Widowmaker. Flankers, all flankers in general. Tracer, Genji, even the tank flankers, Diva, Diva, Winston, things like that. They basically also counter Ana, but I need to get back in there, I've been kicked out. They basically also counter Ana, but that's more because she's a support. Although Ana can defend herself in comparison to Widowmaker with her sleep dart and her anti-nade, which swings HP into oblivion. For example, like a flanking Genji can lose a bunch of HP and you gain a bunch of HP. He can't be healed. And yeah, you also can do damage to him, and he can do damage to you too, but you've got a sleep dart which you can then combo him, which is the
feeling sleepy?
Nade, shoot, punch. Okay, I missed my shot there, but yeah, latency through this entire video. Anyway, the last thing that I want to talk about is Ana's relative aim sensitivity. You can honestly keep this on 100 for as long as you want. We know Ana can hit shots in this little triangle in the center on our allies. So she basically has aim assistance on allies. So the faster you can get to your allies and heal them, the better. It's gonna be tough to be able to shoot enemies because they have to be in those crosshairs. But I mean, if you're playing Ana trying to shoot enemies, you better be good because you're wasting your ammo. If you miss shots and you could be using them to heal, or if you're reloading while your teammate needs to be healed, you are kind of throwing the game. You have to just shoot them like that. Alright, so the last thing I'd like to speak about with our snipers in general is crosshair placement. So you want to keep your crosshairs around head height. So if they're on a lower playing field like this, you keep your crosshair around there so it crosses over the head. If they are in your line of sight, in your current height altitude, you want to keep your crosshair at the enemy's head height, depending on the enemy of course, but the general head height would be around here, so that your flicks would be basically just horizontal when scoped and unscoped. You want to minimize the amount you want to flick across, so unscoped placements, and then zoom in and flick. It's the same with tracking. You want to get to where the enemy is, zoom in and then track. Yeah, so that's basically it. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. If you disagree with me on anything that I've said, of course leave them in the comments. I'm open to improving myself, so please, by any means, leave a rating, like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. And bonus tip for all of you good people who decide to stay right till the end: don't jump when there's a Widowmaker in the vicinity. Don't try to juke by jumping. Crouch back, much safer. You will see it right now. Yeah, crouch spam, guys.